Bomb Rush Cyberfunk was probably one of my favorite games of 2023, so much to the point that despite me never really playing the initial Jet Set Radio, I really wanted to go talk about it, but given my horrible sense of timing, that was 2 years ago when the game dropped. However, what I can say is that it's one of those games which I just had a lot of fun with, and one of those games I occasionally return to a lot because it's just such an absolute vibe, on top of the fact that I just really love the soundtrack enough as is. Like, no, seriously, if your piece of media has something like a really good soundtrack, I really feel like that's one of the things that can really cement it as a solid thing overall. But to get back to the point, Bomb Rush Cyberfunk was a pretty good game. Was it perfect? No, because of course every game has its flaws, but I thought it was a pretty solid package, all things considered. Now, if there was one thing to take into consideration which really blew the game out of the park for me and many other people, it had to be the modding community. Because with things like the All City Network, which was pretty much the one thing that brought multiplayer to this game, along with a few other mods that were really essential, like the Movement Plus mod, which just changed the entire way about how the game was played and perceived. It really did a lot to really put the game in a whole different spotlight, which was really cool to see in real time. Like, I would have never expected to see the fact that people were modding levels from like Sonic Adventure and Skate 3 and a whole bunch of other games, which I can't even mention, along with characters, which was kind of a given. But to see about how they drastically changed the game in the span of a few months, let alone 2 years, was something which was pretty cool to see in real time. So imagine my surprise when a certain trailer dropped not too long ago, and well, oh my god, it's everywhere. But to get back into the point, so despite this trailer only being 1 minute long, I feel like there's one big takeaway to take from it. Well, that and also the Steam description, but we'll get around to that later, which has to be the movement. Now, earlier I mentioned the Movement Plus mod because, well, as I said earlier, it really changed the way about how people looked upon this game, and that added on top of the All City mod where they used that to create whole new game modes, and once again just changed the whole movement tech of this game in general. Was a pretty neat addition to see. So to see this feels like a direct response to Movement Plus, while at the same time feeling like the devs are doing their own thing, with us having the ability to now ride on walls and go upside down and even outright fly across the map, which is just a really neat addition. And I really think it adds a lot of potential for what the devs could do in the future when it comes to future maps, because I can imagine that having something like this and the small maps like the first game isn't really going to do us much in the long run. But as I said, I do feel like set piece wise and also just general gameplay wise, when it comes to just exploring and finding random areas to spray paint, is pretty neat. And on the subject of the All City mod, I feel like the fact that this game is supposedly supposed to be multiplayer, at least according to the Steam description, opens up so much opportunity when it comes to what this game can offer. Because as I said before, the All City mod did a lot of things like add new game modes and also add just a completely different vibe to the game. So I'm really interested to see about what the devs could do when it comes to the sequel that drops eventually. But at the same time, there's only so much that I can yap about between a minute-long trailer and barely 2 minutes of footage that I'm using in the background right now when it comes to that one demo that I can't play. So I hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I hope to see y'all soon. Have a good October, folks, and well, see y'all next time.